you ever wondered about the chaotic and entertaining history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, the sporting phenomenon where people wrestle, kick, and punch each other until someone emerges victorious? Well, it wasn't always the polished multi-million-dollar spectacle we know today. Grab your popcorn or maybe your protective cup, and let's take a hilarious journey through the UFC's evolution from its scrappy beginnings to its current status as a global juggernaut. In the early 1990s, the idea of mixed martial arts, MMA, was about as organized as a toddler's birthday party. Enter the UFC, which debuted in 1993 with UFC 1, an event that can be best described as Fight Club meets medieval times. The brainchild of Art Davie and Rorion Gracie, the UFC was designed to determine the most effective martial art by pitting experts in various disciplines against each other. The result, a no-holds-barred, anything-goes extravaganza that made backyard brawls look like a genteel tea party. The first UFC event was held in Denver, Colorado, and featured an eclectic mix of fighters, including a sumo wrestler, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert, and a man who looked like he just wandered in off the street. The rules were simple. There were barely any. Competitors could punch, kick, or grapple each other with few restrictions. It was like watching a live-action choose-your-own-adventure book, only with more blood and less moralizing. The Gracie family, particularly Royce Gracie, quickly became the poster children for the UFC's no-rules approach. Royce, with his modest frame and calm demeanor, demonstrated the power of Brazilian jiu-jitsu by tapping out much larger opponents with relative ease. It was like watching a chess master casually dismantle a series of opponents who were playing checkers. Royce's success made Brazilian jiu-jitsu the hot new thing in martial arts, while every fighter from here to Timbuktu suddenly wanted to learn how to grapple. The early UFC fights were like high school gym class, only with less supervision and more blood. The Gracie family's dominance showed that technique could beat size and strength, and suddenly everyone wanted to be a grappler. The UFC was also the only place where you could witness a clash of the titans, where one titan could be a 300-pound sumo wrestler and the other a 150-pound Brazilian jiu-jitsu wizard. As entertaining as it was to watch fighters engage in what can only be described as a no-rules rumble, it quickly became clear that some structure was needed. By UFC 12 in 1997, the organization introduced a set of rules to bring a semblance of safety and order to the chaos. The new regulations included weight classes, time limits, and a ban on certain maneuvers like headbutting and groin strikes. It was as if someone realized that watching people try to kill each other might be slightly controversial. With the addition of these rules, the UFC started to look more like a legitimate sport and less like a gladiatorial free-for-all. Fighters began focusing on strategy, training in multiple disciplines, and wearing actual shorts instead of what looked like regular street clothes. The result was a sport that was still brutal but at least had some semblance of structure. It was like moving from a chaotic playground brawl to a more refined yet still intense wrestling match. As the UFC began to refine itself, it also started attracting a new generation of fighters and fans. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, legends like Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, and Tito Ortiz entered the scene. Randy Couture, the natural, was like a superhero in a cage. He was tough, skilled, and had a knack for making his opponents look like they were fighting in slow motion. Chuck Liddell, with his mohawk and striking prowess, became a fan favorite who could knock out opponents with a single punch. And then there was Tito Ortiz, the self-proclaimed Huntington Beach bad boy, who brought an attitude to the octagon that was as entertaining as his fighting skills. The UFC was now a spectacle that combined athleticism with a healthy dose of showmanship. During this period, the UFC also made a leap into the mainstream, thanks in part to the debut of the Ultimate Fighter reality TV series in 2005. The show was like a reality soap opera where fighters trained, bickered, and fought for a contract with the UFC. It was a blend of drama and combat that drew in viewers who might not have previously cared about cage fighting, but were intrigued by the behind-the-scenes drama. In 2001, the UFC underwent a transformative shift when it was acquired by the Fertitta brothers, Lorenzo and Frank, along with Dana White, who would become the prominent face of the organization. Dana White's brash personality and exceptional talent for self-promotion made him the ideal figurehead for steering the UFC toward global prominence. Under his dynamic leadership, the UFC expanded its reach far beyond its previous limitations, significantly enhancing its production values and professional image. The organization began hosting events across the globe, effectively evolving from a niche, local fighting league into a major league sports entity with international acclaim and influence. Dana White was renowned for his colorful language and no-nonsense attitude, which made him a captivating figure in the world of sports. His press conferences were often as entertaining as the fights themselves, brimming with vibrant commentary and memorable sound bites that kept fans and media alike hooked. White's fearless approach to promotion and his aggressive marketing strategies played a crucial role in transforming the UFC from a niche sport into a mainstream sensation. His knack for creating drama and building personalities helped the UFC become a global phenomenon, where the spectacle of the fights was matched by the larger-than-life personas and ongoing narratives surrounding them. Today, the UFC is a well-oiled machine complete with elaborate entrances, high-definition broadcasts, and pay-per-view events that rival the biggest sports spectacles in the world. The organization has evolved into a global sports entertainment juggernaut, with fighters from all corners of the globe showcasing their skills in an increasingly sophisticated sport. Modern UFC events are slick productions featuring a mix of athletic prowess, dramatic storylines, and top-notch entertainment. Fighters like Conor McGregor, with his larger-than-life persona and penchant for trash-talking,
I talk, but guess fucking what? I back it up!
brought a new level of spectacle to the sport. McGregor's bouts have become events in themselves, with hype and anticipation that rival anything in professional sports. The UFC also continues to push boundaries with innovative fight formats and high-profile cross-promotional events. The organization has embraced digital platforms and social media, making it easier for fans to engage with the sport and follow their favorite fighters. It's a far cry from the early days when a cage in a warehouse was about as glamorous as it got. UFC-themed movies showcase the thrilling world of mixed martial arts with a mix of drama, action, and real-life fighting. Films like Warrior in 2011 explore the personal and competitive struggles of fighters, blending intense cage matches with emotional backstories. Never Back Down in 2008 follows a teenager's journey into underground fighting to overcome personal challenges. The Ultimate Fighter reality series also inspired movies and documentaries, highlighting the grueling training and raw determination of UFC athletes. These films capture the grit and glamour of UFC, delivering high-octane action and emotional depth to audiences worldwide. The UFC's history is a testament to the evolution of sports entertainment, from its chaotic and unregulated beginnings to its current status as a global sports empire. The UFC has provided a thrilling ride for both fighters and fans. It has transformed from a scrappy, no-rules brawl into a polished and professional sport that attracts viewers from around the world. Through all the changes, one thing has remained constant: the UFC's ability to deliver high-octane, thrilling entertainment. Whether you're a die-hard fan or someone who tunes in for the occasional fight, the UFC has something for everyone: dramatic rivalries, incredible athleticism, and a spectacle that is uniquely its own. So the next time you watch a UFC event, remember the wild journey that brought the sport from a chaotic free-for-all to a polished global phenomenon. It's a story of evolution, innovation, and the unyielding desire to entertain. Because in the world of the UFC, the show must go on, and the punches, kicks, and drama are always more than meets the eye. Thanks for watching.
Fight scheduled for 3 5 minutes.